This lure is obviously mimicking bluegill, but if you look at the bottom of it, it could also be a shad type bait. A lot of times bass will come up and hit shad up in the lily pads and heavy vegetation like that. So working a bait like this and having that walking side to side action, similar to like a topwater spook has, but you can get it through the heaviest vegetation, that's a great lure to have in your tackle box. Now when you throw in this Sunfish, you want to make sure you throw this on a heavy setup. A lot of times you're fishing this in heavy vegetation. You need to be able to bring that fish out of the cover. So it's important to fish braided line. That's an absolute must. 50-pound minimum. You could go up to 65, maybe more if you're fishing really, really heavy stuff. But 50 pounds is pretty good. And then the other thing that you want to make sure to have is a really stiff rod. I like to use a heavy power or an extra heavy power, but not something that's really long. For something like this that I want to get to walk side to side, I like a 7-foot rod for fishing in that heavy vegetation. It's just long enough where I have a lot of leverage to bring that fish out, but it's short enough where I can put my rod tip down and still work that bait and get that nice walking side to side action. And I go with the highest speed gear ratio as I can get away with, because getting those fish out is really tough, and the faster you can get their head up and get them moving, the easier it goes. So heavy gear for throwing this bait to get them out of that cover. This lure has an excellent side-to-side action, or what some folks call walking the dog action. So you don't have to move this lure very much to really get it to walk side to side and get that action that you want. That nice keel keeps that bait nice and in place and just kind of pivoting side to side. So if you're throwing it in a grassy hole type area, you know, some gaps and some lily pads, you can really walk this thing and get it to move a lot in that short little pool that you're trying to get that bass to come up and grab it out of. Ideal conditions for this bait are going to be anytime you have heavy surface vegetation, such as lily pads, grasses, things you need to fish a surface lure like this, a hollow-bellied bait like a frog. This is excellent for that. And this walks side to side very quickly in a short amount of space, so you can really optimize the amount of action in a short distance with this lure.